Alright, so this video, got my guy Coleman here. So if you guys are not aware, we both co-own Mastery Hoops. We recently started this a couple months ago, and we're gonna kind of take you guys through the whole story of how we started it, how we started collaborating and then building to that, and then where it's taken us so far, and then kind of where we plan to take it down the road. So this initially started about a full year ago. Coleman and I started talking on social media, and then I ended up getting my own gym, and he was like, yo, let's do a clinic. So he came down, and that was the first time we interacted in person. So we ran a clinic, went really well. So we started to kind of with each other, like had very similar values, the way that we train, things like that. So from there, we were basically like, yo, let's just like keep learning from each other. And then we started to set up a weekly call. So every Sunday, we would talk about our week, what we did training-wise, things that we read, podcasts and things like that. And that's kind of what kickstarted this whole process.
Yeah, and I think the weekly call was mainly just for us at first. Just to chop it up, obviously both of us are very research-oriented people. We both like to research what we're doing, apply it, and then talk about it. So we never really had that ability to talk about it, kind of that last step, until I went up there, we did the clinic, went well, we realized that we're of similar training philosophies, and we're like, yo, let's just continue to learn, continue to teach each other what we're doing, how to apply some of the stuff we're learning. So that was really cool. Those weekly phone calls became kind of a thing, something we look forward to, and take what we've learned, what we did business-wise, as well as on the on-court side, and just kind of chop it up, talk about what we've been learning, and that started to develop into us really developing our training philosophies. Like, I think in those few months where we were just every Sunday very consistent, hopping on these phone calls, we learned so much, not only just talking to each other, but more so even because we were held accountable, right? We knew we had to learn something new. We knew we had to do something on the business side new. We could kind of bounce ideas off of each other. So that held us accountable, and I think that growth that we saw was exponential in those few months, and it became a thing where it's like, hey, we don't want to keep this information for ourselves. We don't want to keep these resources for ourselves. Everything we're learning, we want to bring other trainers along with us for the journey, other coaches, other players even. So that kind of sparked the idea of like, hey, even if we're not to the point yet where we can teach every trainer in the world the way to do something, we want to take along as many people as possible with us in our journey to learning. So that's kind of what sparked this idea of Mastery Hoops. I can't remember how exactly it started, who presented the idea, what really got it going.
I think we were just like, yo, let's start a document where you put, yeah, I think that's what, so we were just like, yo, let's just start putting all the resources, like podcasts, books that we're reading, articles that we read, into a document. And we were like, you know what, it's gonna probably take a year. We're just gonna put all the resources that we've learned, and then we'll eventually turn it into like a platform. So we were like, it's gonna take like over a year of just kind of all the resources that we've used to compile it, to actually have it be worth something to other trainers. And then I think after like 2 months, we had 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 resources, tons of different books that we've read. So we were like, honestly, like, we can start this quick. And one thing that I think that we both pride ourselves on is like, we're never gonna be perfectly ready. So the time's never going to be 100% right. We're not gonna wanna wait until everything's, the stars align. So we're like, you know what, let's just put this into gear and let's get this ready. So I think we started the weekly calls October. By January, like, you know what, let's do this. So we started filming. He came up, I think it was like late January, late January, early February, he came down. We started filming a lot of the talking videos, and a lot of those aren't really that good, high quality stuff, obviously, because we were just starting out. Still great information, but obviously evolved a lot since then. And that's where we just started filming it. We started talking about, okay, what are we gonna call it? We had a document, we were putting down any type of names that we could think. Of names. Yeah, that took so long. And then we eventually came up with Mastery Hoops because it kind of represents the mission that we're on in terms of teaching and helping other coaches master their training philosophies and what they're doing. So that's kind of what started the coaches platform. He came down, we spent a full weekend just filming content the entire time, getting everything structured, organized. Obviously spent another couple weeks getting the website and everything prepared, promoting on Instagram and things like that. And that's what kickstarted it, was starting out with that coaches platform.
Yeah, I think we were 100% focused on that coaches platform so we dropped that when March?
I think March.
April. Yeah, March.
Yeah,
I think
very beginning of April.
The first weekend of April. So we dropped that, locked in on that for a couple of weeks, a couple of months really, and I think it reached the point where we had players like, yo, I want to be on this too. Like, I want to start learning the science behind the game. And I think initially we were kind of diverting them towards the coaches platform, but we realized that most of the information we were using, we could also pose that in a more practical way for players. Something where players not only know, read a program and be like, all right, this is what I do day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our goal here was to let's educate players so they can train themselves, so they can extend their careers and eat the right way, sleep the right way, know the science behind everything that they're doing. And I think that became the main focus in May-ish. Another weekend we had where it came up to Boston, we just banged that out, banged that entire first batch of videos for the platform, got the website set, started promoting that. So that was June. So by that time we had coaches platform up, players platform up. And I think one thing about us is that we always want a new project to be working on. So I remember going out literally right after we dropped the players platform, I believe. We really focused on that for a couple weeks. I was out in Cali, linked up with a couple of the guys who are now at the conference, coming to the conference this weekend. And I think we were on one of our phone calls, like Sunday phone call, and I was like, yo, it'd be dope if because I'm going around learning from these guys, connecting with them, it'd be dope if we all brought them into one place, because nobody's ever done it. We have coaches conference, like high school, college, NBA coaches. You have strength and conditioning conferences. No one's ever put on a player development conference for skills coaches, performance trainers, some of the best guys who are not only the top in the industry, but the top on social media. They've done a really good job of building their brand. And I think we had already put in the groundwork with most of these guys, built relationships to some extent at least. And then it was really just, it almost came easier than I thought. I was like, yo, I'm gonna start reaching out to these guys. I think 2 days later, we had at least 6 of the 8 confirmed. Or it's 4 of the 6 that aren't us 2 confirmed. Hit another couple of them up. They were down like this. And I think it's just the novelty of the idea, being able to be in the same gym with so many other great professionals and network while you're there with the attendees, and be a part of something that's essentially revolutionary. So it came easier at first, and then the groundwork is what really has been the difficult part, or what's really been. But I mean, even then, it's not difficult because we love doing this. We love putting this in. It's exciting. Every step of the way, it's something exciting. But that was June. Circling back to that was June, mid-June really. So
I think we had the idea initially in May, or somewhere around there. Cause we were just like, yo, what's like the biggest thing that we could do to help our brand and just like help our mission? And then like you came up with the idea, kind of put it on the back burner, and then you went to LA and you were like, yo, we should like do the conference.
This is possible.
And then we were like, all right, cool.
And that's also right after I signed the lease on the gym. So then I was like, all right, we can have it even here. Obviously that outgrew this gym here. Not been 150 people in here, but so I think that's kind of the perfect storm of events that came together for that. So it's like players platform, 2 months later, coaches platform, 2 months later, players platform, 2 weeks later, 2 weeks later, conference comes up and we start putting in work, we start even promoting it within a couple of weeks after the idea. So everything has moved fast, and now it's to the point where at first it was just us two, like you were saying, the videos weren't high quality, we didn't have
filming
each other. We were just filming each other, and now it's to the point where it's like, all right, let's scale this thing. Let's use this stepping stone that is the conference, not only financially, but attention-wise and brand-wise, as something that will accelerate our process for the long run. So now I think the vision, you can speak on this as well, is like just continuing to chase the same mission, but doing it in ways that we wouldn't even have thought of. Literally a year ago from 2 days from now would have been when we started, or would have been our clinic, first clinic. So that first year moved fast. We started drinking coffee. We started accelerating the entire process. So it's really now about taking that growth and making it even more exponential by bringing good people on board, by investing in our own brand and making sure that we are taking calculated risks every step along the way.
I think an interesting part about the conference is like, we've never ran a conference before, number one. Number two, we were like, all right, maybe we can do it at the gym. We organized the whole thing. Didn't have a proof of concept. We're like, all right, we know we're gonna make this amount of money, so we're paying the trainers a good lump sum of money without any guarantee that we're gonna make that money back. Obviously spending a shit ton of money to make the conference good. So it's like, no one's done it. We're the first ones to do it. We put all these people together with no real guarantee that anything's gonna work out. We're kind of figuring it out on the fly, really. So
even when we first set out to do it, we're like, our goal is 50 people.
Our goal is 50 people.
50 attendees, and now it's
30 people signed up. For
30 people signed up first. They're like, all right, cool, 100. Get to 100. It's like, all right, let's get to 125. And that's kind of where we maxed out. Probably just circumstances, COVID.
With COVID.
Even people aren't, like you mentioned, nobody has the proof of concept to understand. I know this is going to go well. I know that this is legit, whatever. So I think that went even better than expected, and that's a testament to the guys that we're bringing in. Seeing all those guys, Drew, Paul, Tim, Micah, Devin, like seeing these guys all in one place is revolutionary. It's something that I absolutely would pay for if I wasn't running it. I would have paid for, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago when I was first getting into training, and I still would now. So that's kind of a testament to them. But I almost feel like, and this may sound ironic in some ways, but I almost feel like us not having the experience has helped us because we don't have any predetermined notions of how a conference should go, right? Like we're doing some pretty unique stuff. We're doing live workouts with players. A couple of the speakers, I would talk when I would kind of propose that idea. They'd be like, "Yo, that's not how I'm used to conferences going." When I've talked in the past, but I almost like this more because now I'm in my element. So it's like we weren't in this one-track mindset. Like this is how a conference goes. This is how we run it. We were like, all right, we're just gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna do what makes sense. Obviously, we got our expertise. We outsourced some of that in terms of like the AV services, asking people. That's the main thing. Asking anyone we knew, and even just asking coaches like, "Yo, what would you want to see as you're at this event?" Getting feedback, or thinking a year or two ago, we were like, "Yo, if we went to this event, what would we want to feel? What would we want the environment to be like? What do we want from the conference?" And then the details behind it are catering, all that stuff. That's stuff that we wanted to figure out too. Is like we can always ask people about. But in terms of the actual core of the conference, the culture that we're building with it, the environment that we want to build, that's stuff that we never had experience with, but that's probably a good thing in the long run.
And I think, kind of like you were saying, we're kind of taking the mind of the customer. I think that's what we try to do with like the whole Mastery Hoops, everything. Like coaches, okay, what would we want if we were a coach? And we try to provide exactly what the customers and what we would have wanted a couple years ago. Same thing for the players. Like when we were players, like putting ourselves in that position, like what would we want?
No, 100%.
We're just trying to keep delivering value with that in mind, and just like giving as much as we can and giving in the right way to make sure people are getting exactly what they want, and just providing value to the marketplace and just trying to educate as best we can. So just going to keep that up, and just in different formats, courses, programs, a lot of other things on the way. We're already at 3 steps ahead of the conference essentially right now, working on other things, planning out the whole entire year. So definitely a lot of big things are going to come from Mastery Hoops, and we hope to definitely shift kind of the basketball training industry as a whole in general, and be kind of on the forefront of that, and hope people that are on the Mastery Hoops platform and stuff are also a part of that process. So that's kind of the full story so far. We'll probably update this video in another year or so.
Another 2 months.
Another 2 months.
Probably a year.
See how everything's progressing. But yeah, just wanted to give you guys a full backstory. Obviously, hopefully this video ages like fine wine in a couple years. You can come back, look back on the start of this process. So it's been great so far, but yeah, a lot more to come. And this video is dropping the day after we ran the conference, so hopefully it all went well. And but yeah, appreciate you guys for watching. Hit the like button, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Go check out his channel. Obviously, you guys are probably already watching him. But yeah, appreciate it.